Hi, and welcome to this 7th video in our C# tutorial series. In the last videos, we've seen different types of methods, and today we're going to be looking at taking in user input. And we're going to be kind of using what we've learned in the last couple videos, and we're going to be putting it all together in this video. And this video will actually take us into our next video. So let's actually go ahead and let's get started at looking at how we could collect our user input. So we know how to write to the console, which is just simply console.writeLine, and then we do an open and close parentheses, and then inside here we can say enter your name. And currently we can display this to the screen. I'm just going to do a console dot read key here and just run this. So currently we know how to display this to the screen. We get enter your name. But besides that, we don't really know how to actually collect what the user is typing and then be able to use that further down. So this is what we're going to be seeing. So the first thing that we're going to want to do now that we have our prompt, which says to the user to enter your name, what we're going to want to do is create a variable, and we're going to name that variable. So we're going to create it of type string, and we're going to name it name, and we're going to set that equal to the console because we're using the console to collect the user input. And we are going to, of course, there is a very handy method called readLine instead of writeLine, and that's going to let us read in the line. And then what we could do just to make sure that we've actually took in that input correctly, we'll just do a console.writeLine, and we're going to do a string interpolation here with the $sign and then the double quotations. And we're going to just say hello and do our curly braces and reference our name variable and then do an exclamation mark. So if we actually run this, we're going to see enter your name. I'm going to put in the name of Jack here, and we are going to get hello Jack exclamation mark. So we know that we were able to actually take in what we typed into the console, and everything is working very nicely. So we can actually make also a calculator style application. So we're going to ask the user to type in one number and then another number, and then we'll return that, that addition of those two numbers. So let's go ahead and let's just take a look to see how we would take in some numbers. So let's do a console.writeLine, and we're going to say, let's actually use our name because we're going to keep our name at the top here. And we're just going to say name, please enter the first number. All right, and then what we're going to do is let's go ahead and let's just try to, because we know we're taking in a number. So if we do int num1 equals console.readLine, and then open and close parentheses, we are going to get a red squiggly. And that is because the console read line returns a string. So what we need to do is we need to change this variable to a string, and we're just going to change the name to in num1. All right, and then what we're going to go ahead and do is we're just going to copy paste these two lines here, and we are going to say enter the second number, and we're just going to change this variable to in num2. And then what we're going to try to do here is do a console.writeLine, then a string interpolation, and we are just going to write the result is, and then in num1 plus in num2. So once we actually run this, we're going to say enter your name. Let's enter the name of Jack again. And we're going to enter our first number, which is 2, our second number, which is 2, and it's giving us the result of 22. Now we've seen this before in a previous video, and that's because if you're adding two strings together, it just concatenates the strings. So what we could do to actually make this work is now do our parsing of the string to get the number. So let's do int num1 at the bottom here, and we're going to make that equal to int 32 dot parse, and we are going to parse int num1. And then we're going to create another variable int num2 equals int 32 dot parse int num2. Perfect. And then we just have to change our variables here to num1 and num2. And now let's see if this works for our example. So here we can say, my name is Jack again, enter the first number, which is 2, second number, which is 2, and we get the result is 4. So that is perfect. But now let's see if we actually run the program again. And we're going to put my name is Jack, enter the first number, and I'm going to put in a Q for the first number, and then 2 for the second. So it's going to be Q plus 2. And now we get an error. And that error is input string is not in a correct format. And that's because we are trying to parse a string that doesn't have an integer in it. So it is giving us an error at this line here. Now, what we're going to be doing in the next video is we're going to be seeing how to actually protect against that and catch that error in time and display something a little nicer to the user. Now, before we go into that next video, what I actually have here is, this is something new that I'm trying in these videos, is kind of like a little challenge or a little project for you guys, and convert these two, they're basically methods, but convert them into actual methods and then call them. You can actually pause the video right here and try that out yourself. And in just about 2 seconds, I will actually go ahead and solve these for you. So you can go ahead and pause now. All right, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be creating two methods here, or two functions. So let's create, so the first one we can see it is taking in your name, it takes in the name and then writes it out to the screen. So what we can actually do here is just create a void, and then we're going to name our function getPlayerName. And let's go ahead, or actually, we're not going to say get player name because that sounds as if we're going to get something back. So let's just say hello to player, and open and close curly bracket. Oh, no, I just forgot the open and close parentheses here. And we're not going to have any parameters because we don't know what the username is right now. So let's go ahead and let's actually do a console.writeLine, and let's just say enter your name. And let's actually we could actually just copy paste these lines. We already have it all written. And now we're going to change these 3 lines at the top here to just say hello to player. That's already better. And actually, what we can actually see here is now we actually require that name. So what I'm actually going to do is change this void method to a string method. Say hello to player. So we are actually going to collect the name. We're gonna get the name. We're gonna display the hello name, and what we're also going to do is return name. And then what we're gonna do is we are going to say name equals say hello to player, and we are gonna just do a string name. So we are still collecting our name variable, and we are displaying hello to the name. Now, what you would probably you could actually break this into also 2 separate functions. So what we could do here to further make this code a bit better here is let's actually say string get player name open and close parentheses. And what we're going to do is we're just going to collect the name here. We're going to return the name and then say hello to player, and we're going to get string name. All right. And then what we're going to do is string name, we are going to make that equal to get player name. And then we are going to say hello to player. And that's a void. That's perfect. And we are going to pass in our name variable here. All right, so now we have our methods. If you had the first method that we created, that is perfectly fine. I don't really expect you to break it down into the smallest little bit here. And then what we can do is have our addition. So here we have our addition here. So let's go ahead and let's make another method. And since here we are just printing the result, we're going to do hello, and we're going to do a void, void calculate. And we are just going to take in, once again, the string name here. You don't really need to take in the string name. Actually, we are not going to take in the string name. We are going to simplify it a little bit here. So let's go ahead. Let's just take that and let's paste that in here. And we're just going to say, because name is a variable here, and what we can actually do is do a const string name. It's being assigned to a constant. Oh, and we actually cannot do that, I believe. Yes, so we're going to have to keep that as string. And what we're going to just change this here to player name. So we're not referencing same variable here, and we're just going to put a string name here. Sorry if that was a little confusing. So here we're just going to be prompting the user for the name. Now this is if you really wanted the name in this calculate function. It's definitely not necessary. Then we have that, and we are writing that to the screen, so that is perfect. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to put calculate, and we are going to put player name. So if we run this now, we can say that our name is Jack, enter the first number, second number, result is 4, and then it is done. But what we can actually do is now also call the calculate function once more and say our name is Jack, enter the first number 2, second number is 2, result is 4, enter the first number is 3, second number is going to be W, and we get our error. And we are going to see how to fix that error in our next video. So I hope this video kind of clarified all the different things that we've learned so far. We've seen how to parse a string again. We've seen how to output to a string. We've seen how to create different type of methods. And you could actually create this calculate method as a integer method and return the result if you really wanted it to. We're just displaying it to the screen here. But similar to how we did for the name, we're returning the value of name. So we've combined all that together with something new that we've learned in this video, which is how to take in input from the user through the console command line. So in the next video, we will be taking a look at error handling to be able to know how to actually handle those errors nicely and display a nicer message to the user. And make sure to drop any questions or comments that you have down below in the comment section. If you have something that you would like me to cover in C# or PowerShell or anything programming related, let me know down below in the comments. And if it's something that could benefit a lot of people, I will definitely make the video on it. If it's something a little bit more specific, as always, I'll just answer you directly. And make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and make sure you hit that notification bell to be notified when that next video comes out. And I will see you guys on the next video.